Hello, I'm Sheila, the Grateful Goddess, and with me today is Linda Chorney. Now, I think I heard some people say, who the F is Linda Chorney? Well, that just happens to be the name of her book.
Yay!
She is a prolific singer-songwriter and a woman who had the gumption, the self-belief to put herself into the Grammys and actually was nominated. Woohoo!
Yay!
So that is just like a really brief, and we'll get more into it, but I just wanted to give you just a glimpse of who this woman is. There is a TEDx talk that I want you to watch that's also on this page. Watch that, it'll give you a lot of the background. So tell us, with all of that, how do you manage to keep the belief in yourself and the message and your music when you keep getting knocked down?
You just get up again. There's actually a part I just made a movie. It's called When I Sing, and it's based on the book and my entire life. Mm-hmm. And by the way, the reason I'm facing this way is I hate my profile this way. My nose looks weirder, and I have an age spot right here. So like in the movie, I'm always like, I like this angle better, so I'm going to talk to you like this.
That's quite
So,
right.
and when I sing, there's a scene where I said, you know what you got to do? You just got to pick yourself up and start all over again and again and again, and that's what I do.
Yeah. Do you think it had anything to do with some childhood message? I mean, I think most people have this more self-doubt. Do you think you just have no self-doubt, that you know that you are worthy and that your music needs to get out there?
I like myself, I'm good enough, and I'm worth it. In the, oh my God, Al Franken, why Al Franken? Anyway, first of all, I had a very loving, nurturing childhood, so that's not the issue at all, except I slouch. I'm going to try not to slouch. And no, I believe in myself, and I don't need somebody else's approval to know that I'm good or know that I didn't cheat to get nominated for a Grammy, which is what happened in the story, is they tried to use alternative facts and accuse me of cheating, which is impossible. I just happened to
So
be
in
lucky
her
enough to get
Cinderella
nominated.
story, she actually got the nomination without a publicist, without, a recording company. There was nothing but her true grit and her husband and they didn't even have time on their side.
That's true.
They should have been working on it for about a year, and they put 2 weeks into it?
Actually, not they, I.
You.
He wanted me to do it, and I didn't think they had a menopausal music division ready to sign me at Sony, so I didn't take it seriously at all. And then a few weeks before the ballots were due for the Grammy nominations, this list came in the mail. Mm-hmm. And I was accepted in all 8 categories. And I'm like, oh my God, if my name's on there, then
It's real.
I do have a chance. So yes, we burned a candle at both ends, and I had my husband help me. I'm like, oh my God, we got to reach out to these people. And we did. It's 3 weeks.
3 weeks?
3 weeks, and made history.
Yeah, it's amazing what you can do in a very short.
I'm doing it again right now with the trailer. I was almost late for Sheila. My hair's still kind of wet, and I have no nice shoes on. I have nothing on. I'm like, you better crop my feet out for this. And I've been emailing everybody individually so that I get my hits up on YouTube for the trailer When I Sing, so that a distributor can go, oh my God, look at all these people that want to see it. And plus, it's a really good trailer. So I'm very proud of it. And I've gone to the lengths. This was the end of my bucket list. I wrote the book because I couldn't believe the journey that I went through that I didn't expect. I didn't expect to be blacklisted or buried by the gatekeepers just because I got nominated for a Grammy after working in bars for 30 years. I was at 51 years old and thought I was finally getting my big break.
Yeah.
The question is, was the industry trying to break me? Hell no.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I wrote the book about the whole adventure, and then said, it's the last thing I do. I'm making the movie, and I didn't know how to make a movie, but I did it.
That's awesome. So, are you self-funding the movie as well?
I had some investors here in Tucson. I gotta say, Tucson is an extremely generous community when it comes to the arts, and I was really flattered by how they stepped up and wanted to help me and believed in the story. I mean,
Right.
obviously you don't shell out money for something you think is gonna suck.
Right.
So fortunately, they liked the screenplay, which I wrote with a Douglas Rain, who is here in town, because I didn't know how to write a screenplay. And then the generosity of someone else who believed in me, Harry Findus of Southern Arizona Video Productions. So we started this thing, and it built from there, and I produced it. I was the producer, and then I had Robin Russin, director from Los Angeles. He came on board, who happens to be cousin, not blood cousin. In fact, we call it an odd cousins film, as opposed to the odd couple. We're the odd cousins. And we definitely butted heads, but creatively and passionately, and I think we
Nice.
ended up with a great product. Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, so one of the things that's
But yes, I put my life savings into it, to answer your question.
okay, very good.
I don't think I ever answered the question. That's what happens when you're over 50. All of a sudden your brain segues and you forgot what door you came in.
You know, you don't know who you're talking to, because I really hate it when people use their age to.
You're not over 50.
Yes, I am.
God, it's in you. I'm not ashamed of my age.
What I'm saying, I'm not ashamed of my age either. What I'm saying is that I do not believe in using your age to minimize what you're capable of, or your mental acuity, or any of that. So that's what I'm saying. It's like, do not discount.
Oh, I don't. I use it as a crutch. I use it to like say, oh wow, she's 50 and she's still, I use it
Got
to
it.
my advantage.
Yeah.
So.
So one of the things in
But
your,
I can't remember anything.
do not keep reaffirming that.
It's
You
true.
remember everything that's important. Okay, so here's
Oh,
the
don't
deal.
say that, because people meet me all the time and I'm
Oh.
like, oh, I
Oh,
forgot your
that's-
name.
Yeah, I don't remember names either. Okay, so anyway, on
Sorry.
with what I'm really super impressed with. Okay, so the fact that she always has belief in herself, that's number one. Never gives up, number two. But also you have a capacity to receive that many people are not willing to, because it's related to self-worth. And so there's two different stories that are very huge that I'd love for you to share in terms of what the universe handed to you, but you had to say, yes, I'm worthy of receiving this very huge gift.
Well, gosh, which one?
Well, start with the travel.
Okay, so when I was performing in Vail, Colorado, this woman came up to me and she goes, oh my God, you're singing my life story. And her name was Tracy, and we became friends. I just met her there, but we told each other our life story. And then a couple weeks later, she called me up, and I said, what's the matter? She goes, my ex-boyfriend broke up with me to go back with his girlfriend. And I said, well, I got a song for you. It's called You Suck. And that's from my first album. So I sent it to her, and she goes, oh my God, I laughed my ass off. I'm cured. Make a long story short, she was a flight attendant and made me her companion on Continental Airlines, may it rest in peace. And I didn't know what that meant. And what it meant was I could fly anywhere in the world, business class even,
Nice.
for a full year, as much as I wanted to, as long as it was an empty seat.
Yes.
And then she gave it to me for 7 years in a row, and my stuff was in storage for 7 years, and I traveled the world, sang every continent, even to penguins in Antarctica, and it was the most amazing journey ever. And then my stuff was in a storage unit. I didn't know where I belonged. I came back here, and I met the guy who bought me this house, Scott. And he's the one who forced me to go into the Grammy. So if you're pissed off, blame Scott Fadnick. And the other
then you also end up meeting the Rock Doc.
The Rock Doc, yes, played by Chris Mulkey in the movie. This guy came up to me one day and he said, anybody can keep a bunch of drunk skiers occupied with original music has got something. I'm going to buy all your CDs. He goes, I'm a musician, but I'm a doctor, and I'm a better doctor than I am a musician. But I know how hard it is for musicians,
Yeah.
so I want to send you something in the mail. And I gave him a P.O. box. I didn't know who he was. And a couple weeks later, a wireless mic and a pickup showed up. And it was really nice of him. And it was not an ulterior motive, you know, try to get into your pants, which happens a lot with
Yeah,
women.
right.
Especially hot women in their 40s.
Yes.
And so we became friends, and 8 years later, he called me up on the phone. He says, Linda, I want you to make the album of your dreams, and I'm going to finance it. And I'm like, okay, what kind of budget are we talking about? 50 grand. I'm like, what?
Wow.
I was like, are you serious? He goes, yep. And yes,
She
I
had
did.
produced, what, 4 by that time on your own?
5.
At 5. Spending 10 grand a piece, because that's, you know, what you can do.
Right.
But this was like
Dream.
5 times in that budget, so you could create it however you wanted.
Yeah, it was unbelievable, and I was like a kid in a candy store and got the best players in the business, and it was a double album, and that's when Scott said, you got to do something with this album. Why don't you put it in the Grammys? And I was like, so yes, I've been very, very lucky. Although I must make a blanket statement for any folks who are out there who are in a position to help an artist. It's a really hard business, and can you imagine life without music and without beautiful art around you? And it's really hard to support yourself as a musician and a filmmaker too, I'm learning. So thank all of you who are in a position to do it. Not everybody has deep pockets, but for those of you who are patrons of the art, I'm personally thanking you on behalf of all of us.
Yeah, nice. Okay, so now you've got a feature film.
I do.
So tell us about it. When is it coming out? What?
I don't know.
So okay. Then after she's nominated, of course, there's a whole bunch of stories. Again, watch the TED Talk, very important, and watch her trailer, help promote that aspect of it. But she ends up getting all this lashback for succeeding, and I suppose probably, as you are guessing, it's because you didn't have a publicist and you didn't have the support, and therefore it makes them look bad, perhaps.
Yeah, well, basically nobody profited off of my nomination. So if their client, imagine you were, let's talk about Jeff Bridges for a second, who I have a mad crush on. And he was in the category along with me for Best Americana Album, and he did not get nominated. So imagine if you were the corporation of Jeff Bridges, and he had, I'm sure he has a publicist, he pays big bucks.
Yeah.
So not Jeff personally, but if his company, for example, will say, what the hell am I paying you $100,000 for when this chick didn't have anybody and she got nominated and nobody knows who she is? So I was the scapegoat for anyone who didn't get nominated, and they are still talking about it today. You could Google me today. Just last week they were talking about me gaming the system when it's been proven that there's no merit to it, but it's just like today with the fake news. Oh, I hate, and it works. Yeah. People fly with they'll look at a headline and just read it and believe that rather than reading the story,
article.
And the headline will be sensationalized so people click on it.
Right.
And they don't necessarily get the correct information, and then people just start believing stuff that's not true, like Barack Obama's not a U.S. citizen. So anyway, yeah, I know fake news.
Yes.
And I know how gullible people are, and it's really pathetic. And I felt so strongly about it that I wrote a book because, God damn it, I'm going to get the truth out. I got the truth out in the TED Talk, but only like 10,000 people have seen that. I wrote the book and got the talk out, but maybe 10,000 people read my book, and now I made the movie to get the truth out.
Yes. Well,
So,
let's wrap up.
are we done?
Yeah. Watch the movie.
No
When is it
one.
gonna? No one. Yeah.
I was going to sing it.
Okay.
Yeah, the hook. Ready? Just no one. Can you sing?
No.
Just you lip sync, right? No one can hurt me when I sing. That's the hook line. So,
Very good.
yeah, I
Love
mean,
it.
songwriting is therapy, and for those of you who don't write songs, just write. If you're pissed off, if you're upset, you don't need to be a songwriter. Just write stuff down and air it out and you'll feel better. I just happen to do it to music or a book or a movie.
Love it. Thank you, Dare. So fabulous.
Thank you, goddesses out there
Love you.
listening.